Hi, I'm knackered and I'm in a reading slump and I needed to talk to you all. So here we are. I've got no plan at all for this video in what to say or what to talk about. I just know that when I'm struggling, this is where I come to. And this account and social media in particular, making content saved my life. It just gave me somewhere to go to, someone to talk to, and I encourage more people to do the same. So I'd like to think that it gives people at least some motivation to reach out and get help when they need it. And I don't want anyone to worry for me. This video is not about sympathy or a cry for help. I know how to get through my tough periods, and I know why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling at the minute. I'm just exhausted, physically and mentally exhausted. I've started a new job. My body's just not used to the demand of 20,000 steps a day, going up and down flat stairs, carrying all these bags of mail and parcels. We've got a home move as well, so I'm cycling to work, doing 20,000 steps, cycling home, going to a new house, painting for 3 or 4 hours, coming home, getting tea, getting in bed. My brain won't shut off. I'm struggling a lot at the minute with my sleep. And usually when I'm not sleeping well, my mental health's not well. It's just stupid stuff. Like I get in bed at night time and I think, right, I'm going to try reading my book. Can't read my books. My brain just won't shut off. Can't concentrate. And then my brain just asks me like why cats' tongues are barbed. And then I go onto Google to find out it's so they can clean themselves and they can get mites and fleas and stuff out. Stupid. But as well as me coming on here and providing you lot with a somewhat entertaining content kind of plan thing, I use you as well. You're my place to go to, so my wife doesn't have to take all the burden of my mental health struggles. So here we are. I just need to come and vent today. I need a place to come and just say that I'm struggling. But I also know that I'll be fine. I know that I'll get through this. I've got through it before. The job will get easier. The house move will be completed. I'll get out of this reading slump. And I know some people probably think, like, if you're in a reading slump, don't put pressure on yourself. Just don't read. But reading over the last year and a half saved my life, truly saved my life. When I were on antidepressants, it was the only place I could go to shut out the thoughts I was having. So I get a bit frustrated when I can't pick up a book and just get lost in it and forget the thoughts that are going through my head. Right, let me update you a little bit on the reading side of things. Since we last spoke, I'm just looking at books I've got at the side of here. I finished reading Chris Carter's Written in Blood. That was good. And then after I finished reading it, my head went and I just couldn't pick up a book. I tried carrying on with It by Stephen King. No wrong with book, it's just all me. It just didn't feel fast-paced enough at the time. I still enjoyed where it was going, but after like 290, 300 pages, not much had happened. They'd basically just about started coming together. You know, this group of people who it talks about the childhood and stuff, they'd all started kind of merging together, and I just needed something a bit more fast-paced. So these books actually came through the post. I want to say this is kind of like kill two birds with one stone, because somebody, and I don't know who it was, sent me Hunger of the Gods hardback and Shadow of the Gods hardback off my Amazon wish list. I put them on there because it's one of my favourite series of all time, and I already own the hardcover version of Shadow of the Gods. So I put them on there, hoping that my wife would get me them for my birthday in November, but one of you has already done it. So thank you, whoever you are. I was genuinely struggling a little bit this week, and I've not really spoken to my wife about it because we've got so much on with house move that I've just put on a brave face and just cracked on, because, you know, she's going through a stressful time as well. We've got a house move to do, and I don't want to put that burden on her. So thank you for the pick-me-up, truly. It just gave me something to smile about this week when I really needed it. And that kind of got me thinking, right, well, if I'm in a reading slump, why don't I try picking up Malice, which I think is book 1 in The Faithful and the Fallen, which is the other John Gwynne series that I've never read. Picked it up, opened it, started looking at first page, and I was just like, not feeling it. So then obviously I put pressure on myself, because that's just what we do and we want to read, and our brains are just like, nah, mate, not that book. So I thought, well, let's try non-fiction. I'm not going to carry on reading it. I'll pick it up at a later point. So I downloaded this book called We Wish to Inform You That Tomorrow We Will Be Killed with Our Families. And it's about the genocide that happened in Rwanda. It's something I really didn't have a clue about. I knew there was a genocide in Rwanda, but I don't know why. I didn't know why. I didn't know what had really happened. I just went onto Google and typed in, I want to read a book about like a brutal war. What would you suggest? And then Google came back and gave me a couple of World War One, World War Two stories. I've read a lot of World War Two stuff. And then it came back and said, when it comes to sheer depravity and just mental violence, nothing really compares to the Rwandan war. So I was like, tell me more. Apparently, it was like in 1992, over a 100-day period, like they estimate, low estimates, is that 500,000 people were killed, but they were killed in the most vile ways ever, like with machetes and putting buildings that were just set on fire and just burnt alive, like vile, horrible stuff. And so far, it's grabbed me. It's teaching me about something I didn't really know about. I'm interested in learning about. Like I like history, but I also like. To me, that's quite modern. 1992 is not too far away, so I like to read these things and then watch what goes on in the world and just cross my fingers that stuff doesn't kind of repeat itself. Because what's happening at the minute in Congo, that's really, really disgusting and horrible. So yeah, just what I'm interested in a minute, and I find non-fiction quite easy. You can just pick it up and read even a couple of pages and then shut it off and come back at a later point. So that's got me grabbed. And then I don't know, I think the stress of not being able to read just pushed me towards Harry Potter, because that's what always happens. When I really, really struggle to read, I tend to just reread Philosopher's Stone. How crazy is this? I've only read up to Goblet of Fire. As a kid, Harry Potter was the series that made me fall in love with reading. But I got to Goblet of Fire, read that, and then I had a bit of a hiatus from reading. I was playing out with my friends, playing football, as you do, and I just didn't really find much time for reading. And then by the time I came back to reading, all the films were pretty much out, so I just watched them all on film and never got round to reading book 5, 6, and 7. So I always tell myself, right, I'm going to reread book 1 and then carry on through the entire series. But what always happens is I reread book 1, reread book 2, and then I get out my reading slump and I get back to all other books that are on my shelf. But I was like, no, I'm going to do it. I want to read Harry Potter again. And I didn't have a physical copy other than the Jim Kay ones, if you can see them there, the illustrated ones that are massive and just not practical at all to read. So I went on to Vinted. And now I'm supposed to be on a book buying ban. I did a video recently where I said I'm not buying books anymore because I've got too many books. I've got a house move, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But I don't feel like I broke this book buying ban because, one, it was on Vinted. So that's like used books. It's not the same as going into Waterstones and buying a new book, is it? And two, because that person's selling a book, they could truly, and I know you're going to be like, oh yeah, whatever. That money could truly feed their kid. They could have been struggling this month. And if I'd not bought the series, they could have gone hungry. So it's charity, basically. I got these books, these copies. I don't know if they do these in America, but these are like the English mass market paperbacks that they do now. And I will say, they're so floppy, absolutely phenomenally floppy. And they don't smell of cigarettes. That's what I always do when I get new books. I just smell them, see if they smell of fags, and they don't. This book's been immaculately looked after. I managed to get all of them on Vinted for 10 quid, the entire set. So the plan is, I'm currently reading this. I'm on like chapter 4. I have reread book 1 and 2 like 3 times in adulthood, and every single time just feels like first time. It's marvellous. I pick up on something new every time. This time I picked up on the fact that when the Dursleys are trying to escape Harry getting all these letters, because obviously all letters are getting yeeted at Harry, and he's like, gives a letter, and Dursley's like, not a chance, tramp. And then he goes to move to that island in the film. In the book, before they go to the island, they go to a hotel, and then the manager of the hotel goes up to Harry and he's like, Harry, mate, I've got like 100 letters for you here. And he's like, oh, can I have one? And Dursley's like, nope. So I just like the little bits like that. And on Reddit, a lot of people said that the characters in the books are quite different to the characters in the film. So I'm interested to see, because I've never really paid attention. So I think I'm going to try and reread some of it at least. The plan is all of it, but it's probably unlikely to happen. And just see how they're different. And I have noticed so far already that, I mean, firstly, the Dursleys, like, child abuse in hellfire. Harry had it tough, didn't he? Like, he had it proper tough with them tramps. They were feral to him. Really, really horrible. And in the film, Harry is perceived as quite confident and stuff, and like quite he challenges authority, whereas in the book I feel like at the start of the book he's more submissive. And a scene that comes to mind is in the film when Hagrid tells him that his parents are wizards. Harry like kicks off and he's like, "What? You didn't tell me my parents are wizards." But in the book it's Hagrid that kind of kicks off, and Harry's a little bit more submissive and just kind of asks the question. So I like the fact that Harry's a bit different, yeah. And obviously because I'm not sleeping well at the minute, I went into a scroll hole, typed in on Reddit, are the books better as a whole than the films? And everyone were like, yeah, the books are so much better. The films miss out on a lot of really cool things. And I'm excited to find out. Because as I said, I only did the first 4, so I'm excited to see what is missing from the later films. I know some people say book 1 and 2 are a little bit childish and stuff, but call me a child. I don't find them childlike at all. I find them nostalgic. And don't we all want to be kids again? Like, getting took back to 90s, it's class. God, what I'd do to be a kid again, even just for a day. I won't give up my current life because I love my kids and my wife and stuff, but just to be a kid for a day would be class. And that's what these books do to me. They make me feel like a kid again. I also want to read Manacled, which is Harry Potter fanfic. I don't know if you've read fanfic before, because I haven't, but someone wrote a book where Voldemort won and Draco and Hermione get their like freakadecon. And apparently that's like a really popular thing. They call it Dramini, where Draco and Hermione just like kiss and snog and stuff all the time. I want to put them two together, to be honest. But someone else has, and apparently people love it. So I want to read that. And then the same author that wrote that ended up being picked up by a publishing house and told, we really love the story, but obviously it can't be Draco and Hermione because of copyright issues. So can you change it a bit? And also the storyline plot is a little bit like Handmaid's Tale-y. So can you also change that a little bit? And can you also change the magic system a little bit? So I think they've changed the magic system, changed the plot slightly and taken the characters' names out. And it's been published. I think it's called Alchemized, if you want to read that. That's based on the fanfic that was Manacled. So that's the plan at the minute, to try and get me out of this reading slump that I find myself in. Just keep reading through Harry Potter's until I get out of it, because I don't know what else to do. I really, really don't know what else to do, and it's frustrating the life out of me, because I bloody love reading. And I've got no other hobbies. I've got no mates. You know, I ain't got anywhere I can go. I can hardly like ring someone up and like, oh, shall we go and have a walk? Because I don't bloody know anyone. But my problem is with the way that my brain works. I hyperfixate on one thing. Reading's always been there. And over the last kind of few years, I've hyperfixated on cycling. I've hyperfixated on gaming. And at the minute, I don't really have a hyperfixation. So when I'm not reading, I just don't know what to do. When my wife and kids are out of the house, and that's like sucky. It sucks balls, honestly. It just absolutely sucks so much to just not know what to do other than wash pots and wish that I could read books. It just makes everything feel like pointless. Really, really sucks to just feel like there's no purpose. And there is. Look, don't get me wrong. I know some of the things that I'm saying, to some people, they'll listen to it and they'll be like, Tyrone, you're saying some quite worrying things. But these are just things that I say all the time in my head, and I work through it. And that's what I'll do over the next couple of days, weeks, or whatever. I think I'm just so exhausted at the minute that my mind's just playing tricks on me. And that's what it does every single time. It plays tricks on me. It says negative things. It tells me to act negative ways. And usually I just get so exhausted physically and mentally that one night will just fall to sleep. I'll sleep for 12 hours. I wake up the next day and I'm like a new man. I'm just full of energy, full of joy, full of happiness. Usually at this point I'd just go to Waterstones and I'd buy a few books and make myself feel happy. But I'm sticking to this book buying ban because moving house is so bloody expensive. Pain and tools and paintbrushes and flooring. £3,000 for flooring. It's stupid. Thankfully, we've got an amazing family that really, really help out. But I can't warrant going out and buying dopamine hits when there's just so much to do with that house. I can't wait for the house to get done. Honestly, I feel like as soon as we're in the house and it's decorated and stuff, you're going to see a different me again. I just don't know what version of me you're going to see between now and when the house is done. And between now and when I've shifted a bit of weight and this job gets a bit easier. And between now and when I can actually get a full night's sleep without waking up for 3 hours in the middle of the night. What a life. You follow me. Imagine coming onto this page and going, yeah, that's the guy that I would have subscribed to. Give me some of that. Mental I am. Absolutely tapped. If you've watched till this point, I love you the most. I've not really got anything else to say. I don't want to just keep blabbing on for the sake of a long video. I just really needed this today. I needed to come and vent. I needed you to listen. And if you did listen to this point, truly, I do appreciate it. It honestly helps me out so much to know that someone cares. So, love you so much. I'll check you in on the next one.